everybody, and welcome to the 39th episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. My name is Julianne, and you can find me on Ravelry as Lovebird Lane. I would like to welcome new and returning viewers to my podcast. I'm so glad you could come and spend some time with me. And I'm recording here today on a very sunny day in Adelaide, South Australia. So I think I'm just slightly off kilter here for a second. There we go. I think now I'm level. I think I was slightly off. As you can tell, or probably can tell, I am sick again. But my energy levels haven't been affected too badly. I'm just suffering with a sore throat and a stuffy nose. So hopefully that's not too annoying. I don't know how long my voice is going to last. So that's a pretty good thing that I don't have a ton to talk about today. So yes, what can I start with? We are having a year-long knit-along over in the Ravelry group, and that is the MyMuddlings Stash Down, and I'd love for you guys to come and join us over there. We've got a few people participating, which is fabulous. As I said last week, I finally have another thing on the board, so that's awesome. So yes, there will be 2 grand prizes. I'll of course have all of the details up on the screen. So yeah, if you want to join in, please head over to the MyMuddlings MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group and join us over there, and pick your FO thread where you can just update it with all of your finished items as you go through the year. So yes, that's our knit along, and if you would like to donate prizes or just a little bit of money to help with postage costs, you can do that. Please contact me via Ravelry, or the show notes. There is a PayPal me link if you would like to just do a small money donation. So if you do, I'm really appreciate it. If you are happy to do that, that'd be awesome. So yes, what can I talk about? It's getting a bit chilly this week here in Adelaide, so which is good because it has been kind of balmy last week, so it's chilling down a little bit. I think I got a piece of hair in my eye. Either that or makeup or something, mascara stuck in my eye. Sorry, tangents as usual. If you're a new viewer, there'll be a lot of, I usually have a lot of tangents and digressions in my podcast, but that's okay. It all helps you to learn a little bit more about me, my own personal brand of craziness. So yes, I am wearing a hand knit today. This is my Lush cardigan, which is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. I knit this quite a while ago actually, and I think it actually got knit about 3 times because I had to rip a bunch of stuff out. So yes, Lush by Tin Can Knits, and I have knit this from Cascade 220 Superwash, and I think it was the jet black colourway. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you can even tell, it probably just looks black, but it's like a bit of a mild heathered kind of black. So the Lush has, I don't know if you can see because it is dark and I'm wearing a grey shirt, so it has like a lace panel that you pick up and knit the collar, and you pick up and knit down the body. So yeah, I do like the Lush cardigan. I've knit it for my niece twice. The first one got felted, hence having to knit the second. So yeah, I really like this pattern. It's a really good one. So I guess I can get on to what I have finished, and I don't think I actually wrote down how much I used. I didn't. The only thing that I finished was the gift that I had started for Simon's aunt for her birthday, which I don't have because her birthday dinner was on Saturday night, so I did give it to her then. I will pop in a picture. But they were the Toasty Textures by Betsy Stuyvesant, I think it was. Yes, it was. And I knit those out of some Lovebird Lane Fisher DK in the Emerald Isle colourway. So I was really pleased with how they knit up. They were super quick, really simple. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, so you can't lose there either. Yeah, so they were pretty cozy. I I worked on them intermittently for a couple of days. I did actually do a blog post this morning about them because I'm going to try and get into blogging about what I'm making a little bit more often now, rather than just having the blog be show notes. I go back a little bit to what I used to do. So yes, what was I saying? I've completely lost my train of thought now. Yeah, they were super quick to make. I made the ribbed version. I believe there's two different versions, one in stockinette and one ribbed, because I said last week that Simon's aunt is quite thin. She I didn't really want to make anything that might possibly be too big for her, so I did do the smaller size out of the pattern, and I did the ribbed version just so that it would snug in a little bit, which they did. As you can see from the photo that I've either already put up or I've put up right now, they were quite squidgy. They did, obviously, rib pulls in, so yeah, they were done. I think I used about 105 yards of my skein in that, so which means I do have it here. I still have half of my ball left, so I can easily knit another pair. I might do that and have them ready for the market that I'm doing on the 1st of July. So that was the Emerald Isle colourway there. So yeah, I can knit a whole other pair out of that. Junk behind me. This is where I work, so this is where I do all my knitting and everything, so you know, things pile up. Get rid of the tissue. As I said, I have a cold, so you know, I probably am leaving tissues all around. So yeah, that was my toasty textures. I knit those on my higher 9-inch circulars. I have a 4mm circular. I pretty much have all of the smaller sizes on the 9-inch circulars for mittens and socks and things like that. So yeah, 4mm, which is a US 6, my 9-inch higher circs, and some Knit Pro Nova DPNs in 4mm as well. Yeah, so that was my toasty textures. Pretty good pattern. I did enjoy that, and I might make some for myself somewhere along the line. And I would like to thank Nat for suggesting that pattern. She commented and said that she was pleased that I had chosen to make those, and that I said to her that I was a bit remiss in thanking her for that suggestion. So there you go, Nat. Thank you very much for suggesting that pattern. Thank you for watching, and hi. So yes, that was my only FO for this week. I have been very monogamous on what I am working on as my primary project. But I will talk about that in a moment. The only other thing I have been working on are my vanilla socks, which again is in my Finch Yarns project bag, which I love. I'm using this like every day. And these are just my Unwind Yarn Company vanilla socks. Excuse me. And I now have a heel. So I finished the leg and I have a heel, and I'm now onto the foot. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I posted a photo of me knitting these in the car the other day, because I think I might have mentioned before about our car getting damaged out the front of Simon's work. So now I drop him off to work and bring the car home, just so that we can make sure that it's safe in the driveway. So I take these to knit. So they pretty much only get probably 10 to 20 minutes a day, depending how early I am to pick him up. Knitting on these, so and then at night, when you know potentially I get too tired to work on my main project, I will work on these socks. So this is my second sock, and I'm rapidly getting to the end of my sock blank, so that's all I have left. I will have tons, obviously, to finish the sock. And I don't know if I said, did I say that was Unwind Yarn Company? That was one of her sock blanks in her stained glass speckled colourways. It was number 42. I believe that they are all just one of a kind sock blanks. So that's that one there. It's greys and purples and black and green. So yeah, that's my second sock, so I'll keep working on that. It might be done by next week, who knows. If it gets close to the toe by next week, I'll probably just hammer out the toe and I'll have the pair finished. And I think maybe they might qualify for my knit along, so I can have that as some bonus yardage. So that is good. So that's my socks. They just my usuals 64 stitch, 2.5 mil, which is I think US 1.5. So I'm just going to break for a moment, have a drink and blow my nose. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that. My throat is getting pretty scratchy with all of the talking. So just needed a bit of a drink. My other main project that I have been working on, you have seen before, and it is my understoried test knit, which is a pattern by Erin Currup, who is one of our sponsors. And I am doing the wrap size test. So it is now quite big compared to last week. I think I had, sort of up to here, I think maybe last week. So I've finished the whole first section, which is all of this lace there. And I am now onto sort of the body section. I'm on the third section now, which is mostly these stockinette kind of arrows, I suppose you could say, like columns of stockinette. So it's technically the third section, because the first section is the leaves only, which is this lace, and then there's another section where you transition from the leaves to the stockinette, and I'm now on the third section, which is these columns of stockinette. And I think I need to do, I can't think how many I need to do now, 10 repeats I think of that, and I'm only about halfway through the first repeat, so it's going to be super long and I'm totally running out of time to finish this test knit. But like I said, it is my major knitting that I do. It's my major project, apart from car knitting with the other one. So hopefully I can get this done. Because I've been feeling under the weather, I haven't really been wanting to knit much at night. So the last couple of nights it hasn't really had much done to it. I'm still on the first ball. That's how much I have left. So I've still got a fair amount of the first ball, and I've got 2 more balls left to go, because it's probably going to take up 3 balls or most of 3 balls. So yes, Erin, if you're watching, if I fail, I'm really, really sorry. It's just not been my month. It really hasn't. And Erin did mention on the chatter thread for last week's podcast, I can't think, the cold is in my brain. Yes, for the thread that I opened in the MyMuddlings podcast group for last episode, she said that she is sorry that her knit is a bit of a slog. And I'm like, no, it's not a slog. It's so much fun. I'm so enjoying it. It's just because I didn't have much mojo last week. I'm not feeling really great this week. That things are just taking so much longer than they usually do. But I'm a fairly quick knitter, so if I really concentrate on this over the next week, I should be able to make it. And let's talk about the yarn. I am knitting this out of my own yarn. This is my Swindon sock base, which is a 80% merino, 20% nylon. I've just ordered a new cone today because I've run out of my first one. I've got about six balls left, I think. And this is a colourway that I created actually for this test knit. It's called Understoried, and it's supposed to sort of be reminiscent of looking up at the canopy of trees in a forest and seeing little blips of the sky up through it. And I think it does a pretty good job of replicating that. I like it. I think Erin likes it as well. So I'm going to attempt to probably have a few skeins of this available when her pattern does release. So if you guys want to purchase her pattern and purchase some of this yarn, you can do so. So yeah, I don't know what else really to say about this one other than I really got to work on it. But I love it. I do love it, Erin. So don't feel like I think this is a slog or anything like that, because I do love it. But yeah, it's just the way that I'm feeling at the moment. So that can go back up there. So that's all I have been working on this week. I have been doing some sewing, however. I think I mentioned last week that I really liked my Finch Yarns drawstring bag, and I was looking for a tutorial to make my own, and Shara reached out to me from the What Shara May podcast. Hi Shara. And said that she makes those same bags too, that she really likes them. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like them too, because I'm going to be making some for my shop. So thank you Shara for reaching out, but I did figure it out. They're super simple to make, hey? But they're so, like, they have such a high level of polish. That's what I like about them. They're a really polished bag, but they're super simple to make. So, and they're really fun. I have put the tutorial that I just used as a bit of a guide in the show notes, and they're at www.mymuddlings.com if I haven't already put that in the down bar somewhere along the line. But I will show you, because I showed off the fat quarters that I purchased last week, and of course, for some reason in my head, I always think that fat quarters are in inches, not in centimetres. So I know they're about 50 by 52 centimetres, but I always in my head think that that's inches. And so I always think that I have more fabric than I actually do. And then when I open out the fat quarter, I'm like, oh, there's not actually that much there. And so you can laugh at me if you like, because I did kind of have it, oh my God, what an idiot moment. So I've been doing a lot of testing and experimenting with the best size bag that I can really get out of my fat quarters, and the lining fabric actually has a lot more used of it than the external fabric, because you've got the lining, you've got your drawstring channel plus your drawstring, which are all supposed to be made out of your lining fabric. I mean, obviously I could incorporate a different fabric or use my external fabric for one of those elements. Sorry, my phone is just ringing. I could do that. But I don't know. I like the idea of having your lining and your drawstring and everything out of the same fabric. So that's what I have been doing. And my first one was a bit of a reject. It wasn't not really a reject. It's just not a desperately usable size. And it's mostly because I did them kind of the wrong way around. So I'll show you. This will be in my shop update this week as well. It's got dog hair all over it. I apologise. But this was the first one that I did. So that was the Pantone colour, what do you call it? Like the Pantone type fabric that I got. And I was so annoyed when I opened up my fat quarter, because my piece of fabric, oh, I've got dust on it as well. My piece of fabric actually came with the pattern repeat in it. So my fat quarter had a big dotted line in it, which I was just thrilled about. Although when you've got something in it and it's sitting up, you're not going to see that dotted line because it's in the boxed bottom. But yeah, I was a little bit annoyed about that. So I made it long-ish. It's about 12.5 inches long, and you've got, you know, from what you can see, there's 3 rows of colours on each side. Yeah, so there's 3 rows of colours on each side. I had this grey lining on the inside, and I figured out that these are actually completely reversible, honestly, because I said on a podcast episode a few months back where I have discovered my love of like ladder stitch, where I can let me see. Yes, just between those white squiggles is where the seam is for the bottom, and I did that by just hand stitching it together and doing a ladder stitch. So technically these could be reversible if you wanted them to be, because there's not like a visible seam, I guess you could say. And I've got my new labels, which I'm super excited about. I only got them probably a week or so ago. Did them in my new colours of grey and purple. So they're just simple text labels, Lovebird Lane. So I've been putting those in the bag. So this one will be in the shop update tomorrow night. If you like this one, I do quite like this one. Just be sort of a good size. All of these probably will be a good size for socks. so that's it, all cinched up. Socks are a small shawl or the starting of a shawl before you want to transfer maybe to a bigger bag. So yeah, that's the first bag that I have done. The second one that I did was another little test to see what I could get out of my fabric, and this one was the Minions fabric, and this is I've made this one for my little niece because she loves Minions. She's 3 years old, and I just got this super cute swirly yellow lining to go inside. So yeah, and again I hand stitched the bottom together, so completely reversible, and yeah, I think she's going to love it. They're doing a promotion here at one of our supermarkets. We have 2 big supermarkets. One's Coles, one is Woolworths. And Woolworths are having a promotion at the moment where they've got little discs that have Marvel characters on them. So the other day, Simon and I went and did some of our shopping at Woolworths, and we got some Marvel discs. So I can pop them in here and give her her little bag with their Marvel discs in them. So, because she's collecting them, I don't think I said that, but she's collecting the Marvel discs. So I can pop them in there and give her a little Minions bag. So I think she'll be really happy with that. My sister, I sent through a picture of the Minions fabric while it was still in the fat quarter, and she goes, oh, she'll love that. So yeah, I've just got to get up to see them. She can have a little Minions bag. And finally, this is the one, the size that I'm probably going to be making mostly out of what is left. This one is for me because of obvious reasons. I mentioned that last week. I love my triangles and my geometrics. So this one will be for me, but this will be about the size that I'm making out of all of the other fabric that I had. Apart from one. Last week I had the yarn balls one that I was able to get the same colour lining. It's actually exactly the same as this lining plus 2 matching of the yarn balls. So I'm going to make that one a slightly bigger bag. But yeah, I've basically figured out a way to use the entirety of the lining fabric, like there's no lining fabric left, while getting the biggest sort of blocks for the bag. So I finally figured it out. So this one is for me, and I'm super excited. And again, hand stitch the bottom together so it's completely reversible. There's my little label. So yeah, that'll be about the size that I will be making to put in the shop. I hopefully might be able to get some more sewing done this afternoon if I'm feeling up to it, although I probably should just really sit down and do my knitting on my understory. So yeah, that'll be a fairly good sort of size for a shawl even, I reckon. Definitely a sock. You could potentially even get a shawl in there. So hopefully I'll have a bunch of those because that was what I had, 10 bags worth of fabric. So, well, 9 now that I'm making that other one bigger. So yeah, next week I guess I'll have 7 bags hopefully to go in the shop, along with some more yarn hopefully, because I have been doing my self-striping and I'm very excited about it. But anyway, that's my sewing. That's what I have done. I guess I can move on to shop update because I am going to have a mini shop update tomorrow. That bag that I've just shown you, the Pantone one, will be in the shop update along with some more self-striping because I love it now. So yeah, let's have a look at what I've got. It's down in front of me. Yeah, so I will have my second installment in the Adventure Time self-striping sock collection, and bleh, I'm losing my little ball. And this one is the Marceline colourway. So Marceline, if you don't watch Adventure Time, she is Marceline the Vampire Queen, and she has black hair, she wears a grey singlet, like a bluey purple pair of pants and red boots. So hence those are the colours that are in the self-striping, and that's it in the ball that I just do for photographs because this will now be broken down and made into a skein like this one. So yes, this is Marceline the Vampire Queen, and I will have 2 skeins of that available. So those 2 will be in the shop tomorrow night. And this one, I really love this one. Y'all know that I love my 3 PM colourway. So I have created a self-striping that's the same as my 3 p.m. colourway. So there we go. This I am calling coffee and muffins because that was kind of the inspiration between the 3 p.m. name. Like, you know, afternoon tea, you have your muffin and your coffee. So yes, I'm calling this coffee and muffins. And it's a brown and a blue with the speckle in between, which has a bit of burnt orange and some grey in it. So yes, that is the skein there. So I'll have 2 skeins of this as well up in the shop tomorrow night. So my shop updates are, let me think, 7 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time on Friday the 26th of May, I believe that is right. I think today's the 25th. So yes, this podcast will come out in the morning of my shop updates. So I hope you can join me. The bag and those 4 skeins of yarn will be in the shop tomorrow night. Did I mention, I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, if you are interested in any of my yarn colours, and I know I don't always have all of them in stock, I now have a custom listing in the shop. So if you wanted a particular colour that you missed out on because maybe it sold out before you got to it, or you've just liked that colour but if you haven't seen it in the shop yet, please head over there because you can pick a custom. You can choose your yarn base and choose your colourway and I will dye it for you. So that is something over in the shop. And something else I forgot to mention is my Treat Yourself sale is still going on in the Lovebird Lane Etsy shop, and that is spend $50 and get $10 off by using the code, which I'll put in the down bar. And the other one is especially good if you're international. Spend $75 and you can have free shipping. So that code will also be in the down bar and they are also in the show notes. So I guess I can get on to a bit of love it and leave it. And I was sort of thinking about it this morning, what do I love? And I've actually been really loving doing my sewing because I haven't sewn for a really long time, and I've basically migrated my sewing machine out to our dining room, which was the table that I already had bogarted for Lovebird Lane, and I've now got the sewing machine out there at the moment and my cutting mat. So I've really been having a lot of fun with that. The only kind of annoying thing is I have a massive steam generator iron and I don't love it, but it's the only iron that I have. So I kind of have to lug this massive thing out every time I want to do a bit of ironing, which I don't do often. I don't iron our clothes. I mean, life's too short, right? So yeah, if I want to iron my interfacing on or iron my straps, you know, my drawstring straps to sew them and things like that, I've got to lug out this massive steam generator iron. So maybe that my love it and leave it is sewing entirely. It's the leave it is lugging out a massive iron, and the love it is the sewing itself. So yeah, I think that's probably will do. As for blather and things that have been going on, probably not a ton. I've started applying for jobs because Simon and I think I mentioned before, we may need to move from here, and looking at the rents of places that are around our area, they're quite a bit more expensive than what we're paying here. So I've applied for a few jobs, so if you want to wish me some luck just so I can earn a little bit of extra pocket money on the side to help with the rent, please send your luck vibes my way. So I've applied just for a few retail jobs, just casual retail jobs, because I don't really want to get too entrenched. You know, I just like to keep cash. So yes, I've applied for a couple of jobs. Other than that, I've just been pottering around doing Lovebird Lane stuff. Self-striping takes quite a bit of time. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been spending my time on is my dyeing of my yarn. So although yesterday I actually purchased, it's described as a toy, but it's like a little round knitting machine that's got a little crank handle on it so that it will knit tubes of yarn, of like knitting, so I thought that could be really handy for things like dyeing gradients, because I've tried to do gradients in a different way and it was painful, and I thought, you know, well, if you're knitting it's going to be going from one end to the other, so that could work for dyeing gradients, so I thought it could be useful for that. Also could be possibly useful for knitting self-striping samples, because I mean it took me like most of yesterday afternoon and evening to knit these samples, which is very time consuming. So yeah, I thought the knitting machine could be handy. I don't know how big a tube it actually makes, but I guess from looking at the picture it looks like the tube is going to be sort of that diameter, so it's a little bit bigger than a sock, but at least you'd still be able to get an idea of how the stripes kind of you know, come out, I guess, on a machine like that. So yeah, I have to wait for that to arrive. It's coming from Hong Kong, I think, so it's probably going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get here, but I'm really excited to get that. So yeah, pretty much that's kind of all that's been going on. I've been thinking a lot about prep for the market that I am doing on the 1st of July, so I need to get some more undyed yarn so that I can start dyeing up some more of my regular colourways. I think that is all for this week. I better go and start editing this. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited that you could, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.